Y'all ready? If y'all ready to get engaged and get involved, hey Georgia, are you there?
I am here. I am here. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. What a wonderful, wonderful Thursday. God sent the rain, washed away a lot of that pollen. So, those of us who suffer from allergies and the itchiness of the eyes and the nose and the ears, woo, a breath of fresh air. Some people get upset about the rain. I think it comes for a reason. So, anyway, with that being said, good afternoon, everybody. I am Georgia Allen, and this is GA for Just Is. And as always, we want to thank Mr. Henderson Vaughn, aka Captain 85, aka the Dream Maker, who continues to open up the airwaves to bring our listening audience a conversation for information, as well as a conversation for correction, and a conversation for transformation. It is always important to have someone on the airwaves speaking truth, because there's a lot of people out here that's giving misinformation, disinformation, and they could care less. And it's harming our communities, it's harming our children. And so we want to try to bring to you some factual information about things that may be going on in the community or it may be going on nationwide. But at the same time, we want to make sure that everyone knows that this show that we have created together is one that focuses on our community, focuses on our issues, and focus on ways that we can make changes that is for the betterment of our children and our overall community itself. As you know, I love KWANAA. I love the principles. I love what they mean to me personally, but I like what they stand for overall. They are just that. They are principles. And for the month of May, we're going to focus on the principle of NIA, which means purpose, to make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness. Purposely doing so, not haphazardly doing, but purposely doing so. And for me, that is critically important. It's really interesting. This morning, as I got up and I was deciding on what I would speak about today, as many of you know, I'm a devotional person. So I go into devotion and my devotion comes up. I came up with the topic, what is your purpose? First. Then I go into devotional, and that devotional topic was an important purpose. I said, well, imagine that. The day that I decide that I'm going to talk about purpose and what purpose is all about, I get this message that says important purpose. And we should all have a purpose. And our purpose should be important, not just to ourselves, but it should be something that projects itself into the community for benefits and for value. We have a lot of people operating, and they join groups, they join organizations, and they don't bother to read the constitution of the organization, the bylaws of the organization. And so they come in with their purpose, and they don't recognize that the organization already has in writing its purpose, its mission, and its blueprint. And so sometimes we have to step back when we're getting involved with all these groups and organizations and trying to change an organization to be what we want it to be, instead of looking at what it already has and building upon that. Because you don't build a pyramid with just one block, one brick. You must continue to build upon that foundation that has already been established. And what happens is we begin to tweak it but we don't lose this original meaning and this original function and its original being. And so today, as we go into this conversation, as I always say, I conversate, okay? I'm not going to fix nothing. I'm trying not to break anything, but I'm hoping that people will begin to think. I'm not going to try to give you all of the information, but I hope that from what I say to you, it will lead you to open up a book, to do some research, to investigate, to speak to others, to learn from others, and to build a better tomorrow than we have today. And I want us to build a better community. And we can do that a couple of ways. We can do that, and well, many ways, but today I'm just going to talk about a couple of ways that we can do that. And humanity. Somewhere along the line, we kind of lost our humanity. Not all of us. I don't want you coming at me and put messages all over the internet and everywhere. Georgia said we lost our way. No, I said some of us.
Can I say it?
Seem to have lost our way. Okay, we seem to have lost our humanity, that quality, that thing inside of us that teaches us how to be compassionate, that teaches us the kindness that we can show toward one another. And then we lost that humility. And that humility is that freedom from pride and from arrogance. And we're seeing it everywhere. We're seeing it in our churches. So what happened? They lost their purpose. They forgot that the scriptural foundation is what they should be standing on. But they come back and they decide that they want to just make it whatever they want it to be. Well, over here, I don't want this scripture to give me a foundation. I just simply want this one because this one is nicer. It's kinder. It's easier to swallow. So as we're building today and we're looking at our purpose, sit back for a minute and identify what is your purpose so that you can recognize it. But the other part is so that you can fulfill the purpose of why you are here. We are all here for a reason. And I always like to look at it like an hourglass. Every time a grain of sand drops through that hourglass, that is another point in time that has passed away, and that will not come back. That grain of sand is gone. And if we're not working diligently on our purpose to make things better, then we're going to ultimately be a part of the problem and not the solution. And I'm concerned about what's taking place all over our community today, in politics, in our various groups and organizations, in our churches. I'm concerned about what's taking place. I'm concerned that many of us have lost our purpose, have lost our reason for being. This month is an awesome month of all types of things. It's Brown v. Board of Education, 1954. May 17th is coming up next week. May 17th, 1954. Guess what? They had a purpose. I'm wearing today Justice Thurgood Marshall pen, because for us in the civil rights community, in the advocacy community, we think of Thurgood Marshall when we think of Brown versus the Board of Education. We think of Thurgood Marshall, and when we look at Brown v. Board of Education, for us, it's not just one day. Throughout the month of May, we should be looking at ways that we can be engaged in education, not just for a day, but all month long. What is our purpose? Why are we here? Are we here just to sit around and be foolish, flopping around, doing absolutely nothing? Or are we here to make a difference in the lives of the next generation and the next and the next and those yet unborn? And I hope in my heart of hearts that we are here to make a difference in the lives of those who are here with us and those who are yet unborn. Again, this is a phenomenal month. The month of May is a phenomenal month. We're coming up on Mother's Day. And for most of us who have good sense, Mother's Day is every day. Father's Day is every day, because there is some man or some woman, whether our fathers and mothers are living or not, that we can recognize and edify and say something nice, say a kind word, send a card, do something of value. I'm not one that like all of these European holidays that they've stuck us with, but there are some days that I think that we should grab a hold of. We should make them purposeful. And so we can do that with a holiday like a Mother's Day, an acknowledgement. We can commemorate a day like Mother's Day. And I don't really want to even call it a holiday. I want to call it a day that we can commemorate, that we can acknowledge, that we can recognize, that we can tell people how important they are. And they don't even have to be the age of a mother to us. They can be someone younger who is a mother that we can acknowledge as well. So don't just box things in. I think that's the other thing that we've done in terms of not recognizing the importance of purpose. When we really recognize the importance of purpose, we don't box it in. We can look over there at a young person who may be younger than us, who is also a mother, and also recognize and acknowledge her as a mother as well. So I want us to be thinking about this thing called purpose, and don't box it in. Don't limit your purpose. Expand your purpose. Because even when there was Brown versus Board of Education and the doors of the schools were open, when we initially looked at it, we looked at it more or less from a standpoint of, I'm not necessarily saying my children have to go to school with you. I'm just saying I need to have the same resources that my tax dollars are paying for. If my tax dollars are paying for resources, then my school building should be equal to your school building. If I'm paying tax dollars, then my children should not have to walk to school while your children catch a bus. Our purpose. Thank you. Is that Deidre? Thank you, Deidre. We need to grab a hold of this thing called purpose, okay? And recognize that some of the things that our forefathers didn't always come out the way it began. And so we have an obligation to go back and take a look at the things that they did that didn't fit into all the holes, that didn't fit into all of the buckets, and be grateful for the things that they did. And then get out there, do something more, and don't just rely on what was done in the 1950s or the 1940s. We too have a purpose, and our purpose is to take what they began, take that foundation and build upon it, not destroy it. To build upon it, not to sit here and disrespect it and belittle it. And sometimes I think these generations that come behind those civil rights activists don't recognize the foundation that they put in place for them, don't recognize the hard work that it took for them to put these things in place. They don't recognize, they don't appreciate it, and they don't respect it. And that concerns me. In 2024, that concerns me. And I know people out there probably say, boy, she's harsh, she's tough, she's this, she's that. Well, if someone is always patting you on the back when they know that you really aren't doing anything, well, guess what? They did not do you any favors. And they also didn't do any favors for the rest of us either, because it allows you to behave in a manner that is not effective. Oh, it's fluff. It's fun, but it's not effective in terms of doing something that will change the outcome for our children. And so those are the things that concern me. And so those of you who know me, you know, I'm not one to sit here and mix any words. I sometimes get me in trouble, but that's okay. That's okay. We talked a little bit about Brown v. Board of Education, but there's someone else I want to talk about because his birthday is coming up. Malcolm Little, Malcolm X. Malcolm X's birthday is coming up on May 19th. He was born 1925. And on the 19th of this month, if Malcolm had lived, he would be 99 years old. He doesn't get to celebrate another birthday. But guess what we can do? We can commemorate and we can honor him. Not just one day, not just May 19th, but throughout the month of May. We can remember all the hard work that he did. We can remember him as an American Muslim minister. We can remember him as a human rights activist. We can remember him as a prominent figure that worked diligently during the civil rights movement. We can remember him. And we can tell our children about him and tell them about the hard work and how he went from a Malcolm Little to a Malcolm X. So I don't want us to forget all of the things that has taken place over all of these years with regards to our community and with regards to the hard work of the civil rights activists who came before us. I don't want us to be dismissive of them. I don't want us to minimize them. And I definitely don't want us to disrespect them. Do you have anything, Henderson?
You know, Malcolm X, you know, as you say, as most of the civil rights leaders, they gave their lives. And look at us now. We kill each other. They didn't give their lives for that.
No.
We have to educate our young people and let them understand that we care about them because they're missing love. When love is not in the picture,
correct,
we get the violence. As you just, and Malcolm X and them loved their communities. They stood up and lost their lives for doing it. Everybody can't get on that platform, and they don't want to. Today it's like they don't want to be on that platform
because they're not willing to die for anything.
Right?
They're not willing. They're not willing to die for anything. They're not willing to give their life for anything.
Yeah.
And it gets to be a bit of a challenge because it seems as if we have a generation of people who want to have more fun than they want to fight. Can I repeat that? Yeah. They want to have more fun than they want to fight. They want to give the facade that they're fighting for justice or they're fighting for our children. They promote this facade of being a fighter when in fact it's fluff. It's not really a fight.
Hello.
And so I want us to begin to fight. I know that we have a lot of stuff that's going on. I'm going to make a few announcements. One just recently passed, and that was May 3rd. And that was the first day of in-person early voting for the primary. So we'd like to talk about voting because voting is very important to us as a community. Part of the reason why we're able to achieve some of the things that we're able to achieve is because we were willing to get in the fight. We were willing to vote. Now, the sad part about voting sometimes is we periodically vote. We don't consistently vote. And so, for those of you who are listening, you have a purpose to vote. And why is that a purpose, Georgia? It's a purpose because when you vote, you have the opportunity to make changes for the better, not just for you, but for those who come behind you. People that voted years ago, some of the things that are taking place today is because of a vote that was done a number of years ago that placed certain people in office in Congress and in the US Senate who made decisions that have now come back to bite us in the you know what. So voting is important. So on Saturday, which you just had up,
Okay.
there will be a voter registration drive at Ebenezer Baptist Church, Saturday, May the 11th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Now, that voter registration drive is going to be a coalition of groups to include the NAACP, to include the fraternities and sororities and others who are interested in, as you can see down at the bottom, you see the deltas. I think that's the AKA, the blue. I'm not real sure which one it is because there are a couple of organizations that wear the blue and white. So I'm not going to yell out a group and not be 100% sure which one it is. So I'm not going to do that. But it's a coalition of groups and organizations who understand the value and the importance of voting. So if you have not registered to vote, take an opportunity to go over to Ebenezer Baptist Church and register to vote. It's really easy. It's not as hard as it used to be. It's a lot easier. So I want to encourage you to do that. Another announcement that I want to bring to you is the 157th annual session of the Virginia Baptist State Convention. That's going to take place, they say, May 12th through the 16th. I will be there part of the time volunteering. The NAACP will have a table, and I will volunteer to work at that table. This event is going to take place at the Norfolk Marriott Waterside, and there will be a number of different activities that will be taking place. There is a contact number, 757-622-7418. So that's 757-622-7418. So if you're interested in participating in the Virginia Baptist State Convention, please reach out to them. Maybe you want to go to one activity. Maybe you want to go to one session. Maybe there's a session about something that you genuinely care about. And so you want to take advantage of these opportunities. There's going to be a women's luncheon, a prayer breakfast. There will be transportation provided for persons in certain areas in the Norfolk area. There's going to be a youth and young adult explosion. So, and yeah, I thought they had entrepreneurship, but that's not what I was reading. But anyway, so please go out, participate in organizations other than the one that you are married to. And the reason why I say that is because you can learn from others. And so wherever there is an opportunity to take a look and get involved in the community, remember, one group, one organization, one person does not have all the answers. And so by going out and participating in other organizations in other areas, you can gain additional knowledge. We also have upcoming a housing event. Do you have that as well that you can put up? And this is also something that's very important. That's a Baptist event. There is a housing event, and I'll look on my phone as well to pull that up. But the NAACP is doing a housing event, and we want to encourage people to go and participate. because every time that we have an opportunity to educate and make people aware of the things that will help them in terms of maybe saving them money, gaining access, and is valuable. So this is going to take place on, I'm having trouble reading my own. Okay. On May 18th, which is a Saturday, May 18th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Myra E. Orbendorf Central Library at 4100 Virginia Beach Boulevard. And it is a first time home buyers workshop. And the things that the organization will be doing is they're going to take you through walk you through the home buying process. They're going to help you to learn how to qualify. They want to talk to you about various finances options. They want to talk to you about the lending process. And then they're going to allow you time to ask questions. So there's going to be a Q&A session. So again, that is going to be Saturday, May 18th at the Central Library. It is now called MEO, Myra E. Orbendorf Library at 4100 Virginia Beach Boulevard. And again, that is Saturday, May 18th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Our housing chairperson is Mr. Tony Harrell. So if you want some information, you can actually go straight to the website. It's vbnaacp.org. And that's VB as in Virginia Beach, naacp.org. And I always like to take some time to just do a few announcements because it's important that the community recognizes that our organizations are out here on the battlefield working on your behalf, trying to give you the tools that you need to help make you successful. So again, it gets back to NIA. It gets back to purpose. What is the purpose of the Housing Committee? The Housing Committee is there to educate you, to help educate you on financing, help educate you on how to qualify, help to educate you on what are the processes, what's the lending process that's involved in buying a home. And so every time that we do this, every time that we reach out to our community and give them information, it opens up a door to help another young person, another first-time home buyer, whatever their age may be, to gain access. And really, that's what it's all about. Is it affordable? Can we gain access? Is there a place to get the funding that we need? Those are things that we want to look at when we're looking at doing things in the best interest of the community. And so I wanted to make sure I made those two announcements. And the final announcement is Monday, the second Monday of every month. The NAACP Virginia Beach meets at the Hive right there at the town center. It's across from Apex. And it is 7 p.m., second Monday of every month at 7 p.m. until the location, if it changes. But for now, it is at the Hive at the town center right there at Independence and Columbus Street. So if you're not doing anything, and if you want to learn more, if you want to get involved, if you want to be a part of the NAACP, please come out on Monday night, meet the people, get to know some of the people there. Maybe you might be interested in working with housing or healthcare, or maybe you might be interested in working with the AXO program, and that's a youth program that works with our kids with regards to our STEM programs, performing arts, humanities, visual arts, business, culinary, and you have an opportunity to get your children involved so they can start at a much younger age and they can learn from the ground up, and we can put a foundation under them so that they don't come in 40 years, 50 years later and decide to create their own NAACP without using the foundation and the blueprint that is already in place. And we want to make sure that people are looking at missions, because everybody is not a good fit for every organization. Did y'all hear that? Everybody is not a good fit for every organization. If you don't have a fight in you, then one organization may not be the best place for you. Shall I repeat that, Henderson?
Yeah, do it, do it one more time.
If you don't have the fight in you,
What's that?
there are organizations that are not the best fit for you. So make sure that when you're getting involved in groups, in organizations, in churches, in business affiliations, make sure that you are true blue to what that mission is, to what that vision is, and operate within that mission and that vision. And guess what? You can use your ideas to operate within that mission and that vision. That doesn't mean you can't have ideas. It just means that you need to do the blueprint. It just means that you need to stick with the foundation and grow that foundation, but not disrupt and change that foundation so it's unrecognizable. It should still be recognizable long after you're no longer there. Brown v. Board of Education, 1954 to 2024, 70 years. 70 years. And what was special about that? The argument was separate but equal is inherently unequal. Separate but equal is inherently unequal. And here we are, 70 years later. And have you noticed how our schools have literally gone back to a segregated environment? So we draw a line here and redistrict here, and we draw a line there, and we move the lines, and we move these young people over here in this school, and we move these people out of that school. And then what do? We change how the resources are allocated. And so these little schools that are predominantly brown may not have the same resources that these schools over here might have. So with that being said, Virginia Beach residents, other residents throughout the nation, you have work to do. You cannot expect your children to succeed in subpar school environments. And yes, there may be some family issues or whatever, but guess what? If a child walks into a schoolhouse that's bright and genuine and resources are overflowing and they have their needs met, even in a not so perfect environment in their home life, that brightness and that those changes inside that school will invigorate that young person. There will be an energy in that young person because they see the bright lights. Have you ever taken a child who had never been anywhere before and you take them somewhere and show them something they have never seen? No matter who they are, their face lights up. Their eyes get bigger. They brighten up because guess what? They see something that they have not seen before. And all of a sudden, they can dream. It's a purpose. They might even discover their purpose simply because you took them out of one environment, you placed them into another environment, and they saw things that were better than what they were accustomed to seeing. It's called purpose. To make not one work, but make our collective vocation, the building and developing of our community, in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness, our greatness. Transformation, as I spoke to when I first started. We simply have a conversation for information, and I hope I'm providing you some today. A conversation when necessary for correction, but more importantly, a conversation for transformation. We cannot continue to operate in this process that we're in now and expect to have bigger and better outcomes. We have to be transformational. We really do. We have to be transformational. And transformational means we have to have meat and potatoes. We cannot just have balloons.
Hello.
We cannot just have the whistle. We cannot just have the little stuff that falls down from the sky. Whenever you have a party and you have all of this stuff just flying all over the place.
Right.
Okay. We can't just have that. The streamers. That's not going to get us and get our children to where they need to be. It is not going to do it. Oh, we may kissy, kiss them on the cheek and shake their hand and give them a fist bump. We may do all of those things. But does that meet the purpose? Does it make our family proud? Does it make our parents proud? Does it? Is it meeting the purpose? Is it changing outcomes? Or is it just a place where we come together and show off our latest outfit? Where we show off our new hairstyle? Or where we show off some fancy shoes? Are we meeting the purpose? Are we coming together collectively? Are we building? Are we developing? Are we making our community better? Do we have a purpose? And is it deep down in our heart that when we breathe our purpose? When we stand up, we step into our purpose. When we grab a hand, we lead our children to a purpose. Because I cannot take us continuing to run around and be minimum. Malcolm wasn't a minimum person. He didn't do the bare minimum. He was not flash and dash. He stayed there and he made the important meetings. He didn't just go to the ones that, oh, I'm comfortable with. He went to the tough ones too. And I want us to think about what we are doing. And if you're listening out there, please send this to other people, because I think somewhere along the way, we forgot our purpose. Again, as I get up in the morning, I get ready for my day. There's certain things that I do. I have my prayer time. I have my devotional time. I play my music. And I don't always know what's going to come up next. But this morning, as I was preparing for the show, this song came on and it rocked me. It said, "Hold on, a change is coming." And if I have anything to do with that change, I will assure you that a change is coming in Virginia Beach. It is not going to be the way that it used to be. We have districts that we can work in, that we can build upon, that we can make changes. We can find people to run for office. We can work with them and help them and grow them and develop them. But we can also look for people who want to be a campaign manager. Purpose. A purpose to transform what things look like today. A purpose to transform things so that they will be a better tomorrow. Purpose to transform things to the point that our children are now the transformational people that they should be and that they can be. Purpose. Do I like Kwanzaa principles? Oh, yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do, because they're principles. They're foundational. And so each month, as I shared, our first month was Umoja, unity. Unity. Community, if we do not unite, if we do not get a good, solid purpose, if we do not stay focused, if we're bouncing all over the place, guess what? We're not getting to the finish line. We are not going to get to the finish line. We're not going to make it. And if we don't make it, our children will not make it. And that is disturbing, to say the least. Second principle, the one for February, Kujichagalia. Because I do the first 7 months of the year, and I focus on one principle every month: self-determination. Did we lose our self-determination? Did we lose it? And then the third month, Ujima, collective work and responsibility. Did we forget how to work together? Because it's been done before. It's not brand new. It is not brand new. It's been done before. We need to get back to those things that made us strong, that made us tough, and took away that weakling in us. And then this Ujama, cooperative economics. Stop spending with people who won't support you.
Hello.
Stop it. Get in the habit of spending with each other. Even if you can only spend with one Black business a month, because maybe you're not in the same financial position that someone else is in. But that once a month with a different Black business, if all of us were doing that, we will be spreading our money around. We will be spreading our money within our community. And then they too, who are business owners, can come back and spend money with each other as well. Cooperative economics. And then now the 5th month of the year, NIA, purpose. Roll all those things together. Self-determination, unity, cooperative economics, collective work and responsibility. We are responsible for each other. And we have to check each other sometimes. And yes, does it hurt? Yes. But I ask people to check me, because sometimes I can be a little tough, because I know scripture says season it with salt, but sometimes, and I just have to be honest with you, sometimes when you look at our people and you know that they should know better, you have to take a deep breath, because it's hard to season some of this stuff with salt when it's harming, and you can see it up front that is bringing harm to our communities, bringing harm to our children, because they get confused by what we're doing and they think it's okay. And we can't have our children thinking wrongdoing is okay. We can't have that. We have to teach them, because they're not going to learn it on their own. But guess what? If they watch us and we are doing the foolishness, then don't get angry with them when they do foolishness, because you taught them that. That's what you taught them. Your behavior taught them their behavior. Purpose. Purpose. We got to get our purpose in line. We have to get in alignment with what is best for our community. I think you and I were speaking earlier about a situation where a young man was shot and killed in one of our communities here in Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
Both of them the same age, 16 years old. 16-year-old shoots a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
And we want to have parties. We want to have a party. We don't want to get together and say, okay, we have some problems in these areas, and our Constitution says this, our mission says this, our bylaw says this, our vision says this. So let's step back from all the funny and the fun, and let's roll up our sleeves and get in a fight to save our daughters and our sons. Let's stop with the funny and stop with the fun. Let's get in the fight and save our daughters and our sons. It's our purpose. It's why we are here. It's why we're here, people. It is why we are here. Sounds like I've been through a few things over the last few weeks, and I have.
Hey, you got to get it out.
If the passion is here, it's because I've been through a few things over the past few weeks. I've seen some things over the past few weeks. I've watched some things over the past few weeks. And I have not been pleased. And they haven't been in just one particular area with one group or one organization or one church or one this or one that. I've seen it all around. I've seen it in the way our city government operates. I have seen it in the way our communities are operating. I have seen it or heard it when I hear about losing another child. And yes, I am fired up. And I hope to fire up some of you, whether you're listening locally or whether you're listening nationally or internationally. Look at your communities and ask yourself, am I falling short? Can I do better? Can I at least do something at all? Can I do something? Can I make a change? Because we're losing our babies. We're making it about fun. We're making it about funny. We won't get in the fight. And we're not we're not saving our daughters, and we're not saving our sons. And that is a problem. Because we all have a purpose. We all have a reason. We all have something to do. And we need to get busy. We absolutely need to get busy. Well, we're coming close to the end of the show, and I'm going to kind of close it out a little differently. I'm gonna close it out with Malcolm X. Again, Malcolm X's birthday was May 19, 1925. When he was assassinated in 1965, he was right there at his 39th birthday. Didn't quite make it to 40. He was 39. Didn't quite make it to 40. I think he was on his 39th birthday. But Malcolm had a few quotes for us. He says, stumbling is not falling. So some of us are stumbling out here right now, and I want to encourage us to get up. Don't make your stumble into a fall. Make your stumbling, instead of a fall, make it a fight. Another quote by Minister Malcolm X. The future belongs to those who prepare for it today. So if you're playing around, if you're dilly-dallying around, you're not looking for a very bright future. Okay? And guess what? That future will still belong to you, because that's what you prepare for. You didn't prepare for a bright future. You prepare for a subpar one. He also had a quote says, you can't separate peace from freedom, because no one can be at peace unless he has his freedom. Our children will not and cannot be at peace if we're not breaking down the barriers for their freedom. So, Malcolm Little was Malcolm Little. He was flash and dash. But when he became Minister Malcolm X, he became that fighter for all of us. So, with that being said, thank you. This is Georgia Allen, GA for Just Is. And I hope to see you next week.
All right, all right, all right. There you go again. Another fantastic show brought to you by that community activist, Miss Georgia Allen. And don't forget to check her out and share this information with your Facebook family and friends around the world and next door, across the street, uptown or downtown. Don't matter where you meet, as long as you get them the information. Just want you to know that we appreciate Georgia Allen volunteering to do this service. But like anything in the community, we must do better than just have people volunteering their time and no reward other than a thank you. As we continue to build this community talk shows, we do it because the future generations depending on us to do more than just lip service. And without funding of anything, you can't beat the battle that the enemy has put in place. But victory will come. Believe that. Until next time we meet, till next time we greet, you've been listening to WBDM Radio and GA for Justice with your host, the community activist, Miss Georgia A. Allen. Until next time, my friend, we'll be looking for you and you. Until then, bye-bye.